Hi, this is David Baumblatt from Terabint Leadership, and today we're going to be going on again about the war in Iran, the bigger picture, and then let's ask each other, has anything really been changing in America? Except, of course, the decline. Meaning, are you seeing anything different? And it is true, I give Donald Trump credit. He is different than I've seen other presidents. But in the big scheme of things, do you see that much difference? Even with illegal immigrants, is that really working? So, again, we're going to focus obviously in the war in Iran. But does that surprise any Americans what's going on? It should surprise Americans, though, in terms of what Trump ran. In fact, let's go to my X feed. I bring this up because it is bringing a little poignant to ask yourselves, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. Here's Donald Trump. Really? I mean, most of us, if you remember your time, however old you were with the Iraq War and Afghanistan, or even if you served in the military, really, if you're an American citizen, do you want to repeat that? Did we do a good job? Were your tax money spent? Did we win the war on terror? That's a good question to ask. Did America win the war on terror? We spent a lot of money. It's been over 20 years. Went into 2 wars. Did we win? I don't even know if we could define it, that was the biggest problem to begin with. But we think about Donald Trump and former President Bush. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Let's talk about today's, one second, let me bring this up. Let's talk about today's, let me bring this up here. And that is, we're going to go, one of the things that we're going to show is this Marine veteran that was, that was assaulted or whatever. And I'm going to look it through both lenses. The first thing is what happened here on Twitter is they're looking at this guy, this Marine. I don't know anything about this Marine until I saw the video on it. And he's married to a Palestinian. I guess he's going with Muslim. And we're going to dissect it and we're going to do it. But the point being is you could also focus on the message first, meaning what did he do? What's the point behind that? And then, of course, looking at his character, because let's face it, we're also giving him credit, or we don't, but you should give him credit that he's a military veteran. So if we're going to give him positive credit for what he's done, let's give negative credit. We'll see. But anyway, I'm going to try to look at this both lenses. Overall, it was horrible how he's treated. Absolutely horrible. And it just shows the breaking apart of America. But I want to focus on this. And these fake MAGA patriots. All these MAGA people are all about supporting military veterans. It's a joke. But let me dissect him a little bit, what we said. So let's bring this up. So first of all, this woman, Kirsten, she's a total MAGA person. Yeah, she's got no support for me. And for what she's saying to a military veteran, she's a piece of shit. Kirsten, I don't know if you fucking serve in the military now, but keep your fucking mouth shut. Go back in the kitchen and make a baby. Stay out of this limelight. Don't fucking disrespect a military veteran like this. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But let me, in fact, if you could read what she says, okay. So this guy, he's married to a Palestinian. We'll look at that. I don't know. We'll just say he's become a Muslim now. Okay, we'll say that. And then, I don't know, no one wants to fight for Israel. Real Marines, not Hamas sympathizers. Okay, all right. Well, let's see what he says too.
Hey, everybody. This is my wife and Addie. And we are wanting to let you know Bilal Muhammad's fighting tonight at the UFC, defending his belt. And he is a Palestinian American, lives in Chicago, and he is fighting he's defending his championship belt. And if you are not in the UFC, or if you are, make sure to get the event on pay-per-view, and percentage of proceeds go to him because he's a champion.
Okay, we're going to dissect this a little bit for leadership. This is what I wrote. Now, the point that I make this, let me put this down. The point that I make this is these MAGA people like to look at the liberals and always say you're a libtard, you're liberals. These MAGA people are also liberal. This is what I wrote. What's your point? Do you have a Palestinian wife? And I agree. I mean, now it is true. Sometimes these Middle Eastern people look white, whatever. It's like the Jews. But anyway, so he's got a Palestinian wife. What's the problem with that? I said, I think white men should stick with white women. Do I think his Palestinian wife is a white woman? I don't know. Probably not. We'll just say that. Is that the point you're making? And the reason I say this is how pathetic these MAGA people are. They would come back and say, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm fine with mixed marriages. I'm fine with mixed kids. I'm not a racist. I'm just against anti-Semitism. Yeah, well, I'm not into mixed kids. So again, that doesn't mean I'm totally against this Marine, but yeah, I've said many times, if you're a white man and you want to be, now again, I've had sexual relations with Asian women. I get it if you disagree, but I'm talking about having children, getting married, like really forming your partner. I'm telling you, it's just a leadership thing. It's a free world, but I'm telling you, if you're a white man, my advice is stick to a white woman. So this Marine went with, I guess, an Arab woman. It's not against the law, but I'm not positive for it. So, but anyway, the MAGA people would come up and say, no, that's not the point. You could be with any man. No, you're a liberal then. That's what I look at these MAGA. Then you're liberal. Because if you're a white man, we'll do videos again on white women. Stick to a white man and stick to a white woman. It's better. Anyway, let's go back to what I said here. Is that the point? Otherwise, yeah, you're insulting a military veteran. Kirsten, keep your fucking mouth shut and go make a baby and get off social media like a whore. That'd be my advice to her. But anyway, what do I think we're going to do a video on that is, even with Islam. Now, I've said many times, Christian first, but if I had two choices of a white woman who's a Muslim, yeah, dress her up like a garbage bag, put a garbage bag over her head and keep her in the kitchen, or a white woman who's, what's the typical Western woman? OnlyFans, a prostitute, a stinky pussy whore. I'd rather take a Muslim woman. Yeah, give me a blonde hair, blue-eyed, Scandinavian, hot woman, put her in a garbage bag and call her a Muslim. I would prefer that than a white woman, same thing, hot, who's OnlyFans. So I'm not saying I'm pro-Islam. I've said many times I'm pro-Christianity, but I don't know. Look at the society we're having in America here. I mean, all these women are whores. Maybe we could learn a little bit with Islam. I mean, probably the same thing with Christianity, maybe the Orthodox. But so, no, I don't have a problem with Islam, but I believe that America is a Christian first nation. But considering a great tool to destroy feminism, maybe Islam. So anyway, so this Marine's got a Palestinian wife. I wouldn't advocate that. Maybe the Marine is turning into, which is not all the case. There are Christian Palestinians. So just as you know, and there's other Druze, but that's besides the point. We'll just we'll just assume he's now become a Muslim. Well, you know, I'm not going to advocate that in America. He could be a Muslim wherever, or he could be a Muslim in America, but it shouldn't be the officially recognized, and he shouldn't be our congressman. But there's probably some good things that Islam can teach us in America regarding feminism. So anyway, so you know, the right wants to say, look at him, he's got a Palestinian wife, and now again, many times I've said, I think the typical American, if you said, do you support Palestine or do you support Israel? I think the typical American would say neither. Could care less. Do you support China or do you support Taiwan? Care less. Do you support Ukraine? I mean, I'm sure you could have your opinions, but generally speaking, I think Americans don't give a fuck. The country's fallen down. We want to stop spending our money. But this debate with these Americans, I support Palestinian, I support Israel, don't give a fuck about either. Now, if you want to do it on your personal dime, then go for it. But I'm talking about taxpayer money, military. I think most people don't care. So I don't even get into these debates. I don't even understand why people debate these Jews with Israel, this and that. I've said many times, my debate, if I was talking to an Israeli, it's like, David, you don't understand the Middle East. I don't understand, partly because I don't give a fuck. I mean, I cared a little about China. That's why I studied Chinese. But if I cared about the Middle East, I'd probably learn Arabic, right? That makes sense. I would probably want to live. Now, I've lived in Beirut for a little bit, lived in Israel, and I get it. But the point being is I think most Americans, it's America first. But if you want to use your private money and do that, go for it. It's a free world. We'll see. But anyway, let's keep going on this, because like I'm saying, what I'm trying to paint the picture of is you either get it now or you don't. And I got to keep going to the last videos that say, what do we do? I'm telling you, there's only three choices. You're going to leave America. There's more and more Americans are leaving. You're going to have to get off the grid, or you're going to have to go into what's called nationalist politics, which are state first. That's it, people. But you hear some of these right wingers that are so fed up with Trump that are going to vote for the Democrats. Oh, good luck with that. You're a moron. Anyway, let's keep going with some of these other ones. This is an interesting one too. We'll do two more here. Yeah. So we'll look at this. Let me bring this up. I'm not a big fan. A lot of these MAGA cult people. Now, I like Donald Trump in general. I think he's the best president, I still say, in my lifetime. And there's a bit of an alpha male, testosterone, what he says. I like it. There's no doubt about it. But we have character flaws. Him dodging the draft in Vietnam, that's not a good thing. None of his kids serve in the military. And now he wants to send us to war. Like his wife, everyone's like, oh my God, she's so in shit. No, I look at his wife as sort of like an OnlyFans prostitute. I've been to Slovakia. It's a fucking, I'm about to say a shithole. No, that's very rude. It's overstatement, but it's poor. We'll just say it's poor. She used sex. Yes, she used sex in New York City to get ahead. She used sex to get with Donald Trump. So it is what it is. She's a good-looking woman. I'm not saying I'm head over heels for her, but I'm not going to paint her out like the MAGA people, like she's so enchanted. She's so elegant. She's like a princess. No, I disagree. She's selling her shit coin and she's pushing her shit movies. I'm not a big fan of it. Donald Trump is a bit of a sleazy salesman, but it comes with the territory. He is still, like I said, if you're going to vote, I don't vote anymore, he's still the best thing we have, but you're going to vote yourself into destruction. It's going to happen. But anyway, let's look at his kid, Barron. And same people, everyone's like, look at Barron. Now, it is true. Barron's a young kid, so who knows what future he'll lead. But he sure didn't enlist in the military. That was mine. That was my biggest dream. I wanted to serve my country. I did. I realized that's bullshit, and I got out. But I did. At least I gave it the college try, and I got an honorable discharge. I don't think Barron's going to, and even if Barron wanted to enlist in the military or go to West Point, I think his father, Donald, would say, you're too smart, you're too gifted, and you're too special to join the military like those bozos. I think Donald Trump would say that. Is there truth in there? There's a little bit of truth, but if you're going to be the president and the commander-in-chief, you got to lead by example. So he's going to send other kids to their death. He's not going to send them in. Oh, by the way, I'm not exactly looking at this guy, Prince Harry. Prince Harry's not exactly talk about a guy. You know, I bring up Prince Harry a lot. I'm gonna change the subject here just a bit, and this is about Asian girls. I'm a bit of a connoisseur of Asian girls. Not like I was into Asian girls, but living in Asia, I've learned a lot about the gookie gooks. I mean, what's happening in the West with these Asian girls manipulating white men? You're crazy. But I would say, I've said this before, and this relates to Prince Harry. About 90% of white guys, because that's what the Asian girls want. They want white guys. 90% of Asian girls with white guys, the white guy is with the Asian girl because he cannot get a relatively good-looking white girl. Some of them, they could get white girls, but they might not get, we'll say, a high-level status white girl or a good-looking white girl. But there's about 10% of white guys. Ain't me. I prefer white women. But there's about 10% of white guys that are with Asian girls, and they can get pretty good-looking white girls, but they like Asian girls. And that's fine. That's sort of the diversity in our life. This is another example, Prince Harry, who I was going to use the N-word. Yes, if you want to say the word nigger, say the word nigger, but I shouldn't. That was pretty rude, but I didn't say it, at least in terms of context. But Prince Harry, we'll bring this up, is a type of guy. Well, you know the guy, you know what he looks like. I think Prince Harry, I think we could all agree, is the type of guy where he could have got almost any woman in the world. He's a pretty good looking white guy, Prince, this and that. And he chose a black woman. Oh yeah, she's black. He's a great example. Like I said, I'm trying to relate it to what I said, Asia. Remember I said about 10% of white guys are with Asian girls. They could get top white girls and they went with an Asian girl. Well, that's with Harry, I guess, with a black woman, meaning he could have probably got almost any extremely high-class, beautiful white girl. He went with the black woman. Not exactly a good idea, but he served in the military. You got to give it to him. Barron Trump and the Trump kids, nah, ain't going to happen. So we'll see where this goes, but it's not going to go good. Let's go for one more here. So what I want to do is, Yeah, what I want to do is the final one here, then we're getting into videos. But what you're going to start realizing is, who are you fighting these wars for? There's many reasons why my story's not coming out, and I'm going to put this video up. Remember, think about this. The military-industrial complex, which is on full display right now with the Iran war. One of the leaders of the military-industrial complex is the Boeing Corporation. The Boeing Corporation is going to make a lot of money off this war. And so the Boeing Corporation is on America's side, right? They're all about backing the citizens, the military veterans, and the government, and they're making money off you, Mr. Taxpayer. Another reason I'm not paying my tax anymore. And at the same time, Boeing is in Beijing selling to the Chinese government to make them stronger. I know, because I work there. But let's look at this. Talk about a piece of shit, this guy. Let's take a look. Oh, and by the way, let me see if you can see it. Oh, by the way, I wrote this senator so many times. His like administrator, whatever. They have the senator aide. They know about me. So this guy, what is it? Josh Hawley? Josh Hawley knows about me. So Josh, you're a piece of shit. You're a congressman or a senator who's taking taxpayer money. He knows about me. Josh, why wouldn't you respond? Are you just so busy thanking military veterans for their service that you can't respond to about corruption? But what Josh Hawley's saying, one of my accusations, is exactly this. We're going to hear what the Boeing Corporation has to say, and then you could see my write-up. But it just shows, again, the big picture, because we are at war, and guess who's making a lot of money right now? The Boeing Corporation. Why the fuck is Boeing in China working for the Chinese government, who later on we know is also the enemy of America? Doesn't make any sense unless you realize that the enemy is already in the gates. Anyway, let's take a listen to this.
What is it that you get paid currently?
Senator, that's well disclosed in our proxy documents in each of the years that I've been employed.
You know, this guy's such a piece of shit here. Remember when that, what is the guy, Luigi Marioni, just fucking smoked that CEO? Yeah, if Luigi Marioni or one of these guys smokes the Boeing CEO, good riddance. This guy's fucking evil. This is evil. You don't have to go to China to see evil. You don't have to go to Iran to see evil. I'm telling you, evil is in America.
Yeah, but what is it?
That's a big number, sir.
Well, let me help you out. It's 32.8 million this year.
This piece of shit makes 32.8 million. Great. And I'm sure he's too busy thanking military veterans for their service. Now, you remember, unlike other corporations, most of that money comes from you, the American taxpayer.
Sound right?
Yes, it does.
That's a 45% increase over last year. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
You've got 32,000 machinists. These are American workers who work for you. These are Boeing employees in the Pacific Northwest. Well, they got 1% wage increases over 8 years. 1% over 8 years. You got a 45% increase just last year. And you're making $33 million. Do you think maybe these folks deserve a raise?
Oh, they will definitely get a raise.
Good.
I'm telling you, vengeance is coming for America. You'll see it. The system will fall.
Good. I hope it's a substantial one. And I hope that maybe this will be an opportunity for Boeing under new leadership to reverse course and actually start making things again, start making things in this country again, and start paying its people well. I've listened to your testimony, and it seems like the gist of it seems to be that if you could just get your employees to comply, follow the rules, follow your management techniques, etc., things would be better. I don't think the problem's with the employees.
Oh, it's
actually,
not. It is
no,
not.
I think the problem's with you. You. It's the C-suite. It's the management. It's what you've done to this company. That's where the problem is. The problem's at the top. Your engineers, they're probably the best in the world. Your machinists, they're outstanding. You're the problem. And I just hope to God that you don't destroy this company before it can be saved.
Oh, don't worry. It's not just going to be the company. It's going to be the country. And it's weird because you look at this guy, Josh Hawley, and you think, there's Josh. It reminds me like the FBI grifters who talk about Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino's a piece of shit. Now, so many people are like, Josh Hawley, he's the man. Josh, you know who I am. Why aren't you responding? You're a piece of shit. So again, even these politicians suck. But anyway, look what I wrote here. because again, it just shows you the big picture. So how many people have a story like this? You can't even make the story up. This is what I wrote. I worked for Boeing in Beijing, China. How many Americans can say that you worked for the American military industrial complex in China, where you facilitated deals directly, not indirectly, directly with the Chinese government? That's pretty interesting. It's 95% of our staff there are local Chinese. And I saw firsthand. I was up for a promotion too. The promotion was approved, so it wasn't like I was a bad employee. And as soon as I got up for a promotion, it was about a month later for another incident, I became an ethical whistleblower. There were unethics going in Boeing. As soon as I did that, you realize I didn't predict this. I didn't know this was going to happen. My life changed. I got retaliated. And then, hopefully everyone read this, I sued Boeing in China and I won. I mean, think about that. How many Americans can say you actually sued an American corporation in the Chinese court system? I did it and I won. Then I did the same lawsuit in America as an American military veteran, and the judge, I was going to win. And the judge threw out my case, or would not allow my case to go to court. And they awarded this woman, who's a feminist. You could read about her too. She's anti-white male. She's a white woman. She's a piece of shit. And awarded immediate victory to Boeing. And what did I say? I think I mentioned here that when you have an American military veteran who's got to depend on China for justice, something's wrong with this system. This system's going down. And so the point being is when people ask, hopefully you read that. I mean, we're going to go to war, but when you think about this Iran war, this is just one sliver of the big picture. Boeing, the military industrial complex, who's making a lot of money right now as we speak with this war in Iran. Because why? Because Boeing is a patriotic company. It's a corporation that puts Americans first, American military first, American government, all this stuff. But they're also working for the Chinese government and making them stronger. Talk about a conflict of interest. And I'm personally here to tell you that when I was an ethical whistleblower, they retaliated against me and fired me illegally. And I had to go to the Chinese government for justice. This story, you can't make this story up. So when people ask, well, what about the war? What about this? I keep saying, you can slice or dice this. We'll go through this, especially the thing about the Marine. I'm telling you, you could learn it now or you could learn it later. You're going to realize there's only going to be three choices. You're going to, one, leave America. You're going to, two, have to get off the grid somehow, or because you're going to see a sense of a civil war coming, you're going to have to go to state politics. There's no unifying this anymore. Anyway, if you don't agree with me, let's if you don't understand or don't agree with me, let's look at one thing right here. Does everyone remember? Does everyone remember this?
I'm going to apologize for the.
This is back in George Bush days. Remember this guy? Military veteran.
1 million Iraqis that are dead because you lied. You lied about weapons.
And they booed this guy. I'm sure these conservatives that are booing him. Not like I like these liberals. It's not like I'm on the bandwagon of Democrats. But boy, I'll tell you, these conservative MAGA people, they are just too busy thanking military veterans for their service. So they decide to boo them.
Destruction. You lied about connections to 9/11. You lied about Iraq being a threat. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead. Jacqueline Castile.
Now they want to take the military veteran. Shut your fucking mouth, military veteran. I can tell you how anyone serves in the military days beyond me. They're basically government mercenaries. I'm telling you, if you see a military veteran, you're like, David, but why are they serving? It's for the money. I mean, they're government mercenaries. And so if they die, if they come back in a body bag, it is what it is. But they're not serving for duty on the country.
You killed people. You lied.
Well, look at these. I'm sure these are patriotic conservative Republicans right here. Just they're too busy thanking him for his service. That's why they're strangling him in the back, telling him to get the hell out.
You lied about WNT. 1 million Iraqis are dead because you lied. My friends are dead because you lied. You need to apologize. Apologize.
All right, what do you think? Think he's right? So let's go to the video now, and we're going to dissect it. What I'm trying to do from a sense of leadership is really look at it. Let me think. 1 second.
America does not want to fight this war.
Okay. So this is the actual event. Let's just look at it. And hey, I've already mentioned about him having a Palestinian wife. Yeah, I guess he might be Muslim. Again, I really like Islam, how their view of feminism is. But I've said this is a Christian first, and I don't know, he's a Green Party. Again, the point being is I don't know this guy. It's not like I'm on his bandwagon. He's a military veteran, though. I know it doesn't mean anything, and I know you MAGA people love to say, thank you for your support. It doesn't mean shit. You know it. It's fake. It's okay. Let's just be honest. Let's get it out. It's the same thing. You look at that black guy and say, I really like you people, niggers. It's just the best thing to do is get the communication out. It's the best way to learn leadership. So the first thing I'm going to say is this person was, and I've said this before, the same thing about the January 6th. I've said the people at January 6th were doing illegal acts. I said it. I said it was a protest that got out of hand. I never said it was domestic terrorism, but I did say a lot of people slap on the wrist. I even mentioned, I said they could do a day, a week, maybe a month in jail. And I said, look at it like a badge of honor. You know, in your olden age, you'll tell the kids, to your grandkids, say, you know, Granddaddy, were you at the January 6th riots? That's what they were, riots. I said it was a protest that got out of hand. Yeah, I was, and I broke some windows, did some stuff, you know. What happened? I spent a month in jail. How was it, man? It's like telling war stories. But the way that some of these people were in prison for a year, I never said it. So I do want to make it known what this person did is probably illegal. The same thing I said with DHS, and we'll get into DHS. Those were bad shots that happened with DHS. But were those two people, the woman and the man, were they committing illegal acts? I guess, I don't know, misdemeanor, I don't know. So again, this person standing up there and doing it, I get that. But let's look at it from leadership. Let's see what the whole thing happened.
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel. Let's go.
Boy, they're getting the fuck. You know, it's weird. If there's one thing that really unites Democrats and Republicans, it's Israel. It's not military veterans. We don't unite. It's not, or money. You could say money unites them. But I'll tell you, Israel is something that really unites these Democrats and Republicans. But look at this military veteran, like, get the hell out of here. Already starting to manhandle them.
Come on, let's go. America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war.
I'll tell you, man, I've said many times, if you think these military officers have any balls, these military officers are corporate weenies. They're really corporate weenies, but the way is nobody looked at it. There is a way to handle this. I'll give you an example. But again, I do admit this person now is breaking rules. He needs to be escorted. I get that. I get that. And this guy, I don't know, maybe a slap on the wrist, a fine. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are now. What a day in jail. But I get that. What he was doing illegal. But let's keep this going.
For Israel, your inability to name that shows your ineptness as leaders.
Also, do you think he's not speaking the truth? We're in this war. People would say, no, David, we're in this war. It's a battle of China. I don't know. That maybe the Boeing Corporation needs to leave China. Wouldn't that be a good idea too? Why is Boeing helping out the Chinese government? Stuff like that.
This is wrong. No. And nobody wants to fight for Israel. No.
Don't worry. Here comes the piece of shit. This is what really, I'm telling you, my predictions were on it. What did I keep saying? Military veterans, we're not united. If you think, and this is why America is going to split, military veterans are about 1% of the population. You would think if there is a group of people that should be united, that should be brothers and whatever, sisters, not like women should have ever served in the military to begin with, but you would think at least there's a brotherhood. You're wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 50-50 split. And this is a great example. The difference is this piece of shit that's about to go in here is a senator. He's on your taxpayer dime. He's a globalist piece of shit. Let's see what he does to one of his military brothers.
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine.
He's right. All these faggots that were there, no one said, here, I'm going to tell you, you know how I would do this with leadership? I see some people here. Hey, James Kent. James says, you are a complete idiot. Is unfortunately never learned the law of this land because you didn't know how to have tools. Yeah, I'm not sure what your point is, James, but keep going. I'm fine. So anyway, what something the leadership could have done is they could have said, let that Marine, whatever, give him 30 seconds to speak, a minute to speak. He earned it. You would think he earned it. And then say, Marine, we're going to give you 30 seconds to speak, and then dutifully sit down or leave. Now you might say, yeah, but we can't do that with everyone. It's ad hoc. The guy served in the military. Who knows? But you give him a sense of respect. But as he's getting pulled out of the room and thrown out of the room, you think any of these people care about it? And ask yourself, if they don't care about military veterans, do you think they care about you? Probably not.
Stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel.
So this guy, supposedly this guy's a former Navy SEAL senator. He wants to be a hero. So now he manhandles his brother, kick him out, and breaks his arm. What a complete fucking idiot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, James, by all means, James, my rule is this. If you want to debate me, say it. But I have it. It's not like I block many people because it's not like I've got a big fan club on here. But if someone comes on here and just talks out their asshole and just says stuff, then I'll probably block you. But if you got a point, or hey, I'm all about free speech. If you want to say some negative words about me, I get it. But you do have to come up with a point. Otherwise, it just gets boring. But yeah, make your point. But anyway, back to the story. This is the Navy SEAL here who's on your taxpayer dime, and he throws out. And I think he said too, it's the same thing we're going to get to with the DHS secretary who got fired. And I predicted this. She mentioned the Alex Preddy and that woman, domestic terrorist. This piece of shit Navy SEAL's also saying this guy was, he didn't use the word domestic terrorist, but he used the word like, he was an anti, protester. He was looking for a fight, stuff like that. Why would you insult a military veteran? Now, like I said, there's a decorum to do it. There's rules. You're in the military. I mean, everyone knows who served in the military. You can't just have it your way. But whoever was hearing this hearing could say, Marine, stand up, say, police officers, release that man. Marine, state your name, sir. And he would say, I know these people. We don't have leadership anymore. Marine, you serve in the Marine Corps. You know there's rules. And we have rules here too. But there's leadership, and we can always do what the leader thinks is best. And I'm going to give you 1 minute of our time. You say your talk. You say it how you want. And then you sit down or you quietly leave. Do you understand, Marine? We have it. Stay it. And 1 minute at a time. Now, that's a lot of respect. They could have avoided that. Instead, they don't even look at the Marine, these fucking shitbags in there. Don't even look at them because they're embarrassed and they're pussies. They are. If you think, same thing with this Navy SEAL, if you think these Navy SEALs are tough guys, beat the shit out of them. They're not that tough. That's why we lose wars. But the point being is now they want to take the Marine and break his. It's just retarded. And anyone knows I just critiqued this Marine. I'm not a very fan of his Palestinian wife. It's his freedom. He could do it. Maybe he's big with Islam. I am a fan of Islam, how it comes to feminism. I like how Islam, but I've sort of said, and I've also said that what the Marine is doing right here is against the regulations. I guess it's against the law, just like January 6th. There's still a different way to do it. But what's most important is look at how he's being treated, especially by the MAGA people. He's anti-Israel. He's a military veteran. And guess what? He probably was speaking a lot of truth. You don't think that we're going in this war with Iran a lot about Israel? No way, David, you're an idiot. It's all about China. Oh, yeah. Didn't I make my point about Boeing? Don't you think that Boeing should leave China? Wouldn't that be a good idea? We'll see. Keep going on this.
Sir, thank you for your service.
The senator broke his hand. The senator broke his hand.
What a dumb fuck. I'll tell you, a lot of these military officers are not that smart. Meaning, he wants to be superior. He's like, yeah, I'm going to kick out this Marine too. Yeah, great job, buddy.
Senator,
He's a Marine. Somebody come help him.
control your Senate committee.
Look at you guys.
Look at them. That's the key. That's what I'm saying with leadership. These people are shitbags. They don't care. So I'm trying to tell you the same thing with me. You might say, David, it makes no sense. Why doesn't any congressman or senator care about you? Remember, their money is on your taxpayer dime. They have a duty. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't fellow military veterans come to it? We don't care anymore. It is what it is. But I'm telling you, the system's going to go down. So look at these people. They don't even want to look at this Marine. I'd be turning around. I would get involved. Not like the fucking Navy SEALs doing, like what was this Navy SEAL always want to be a cop? Like, so man, I always want to be a cop. Here's my time to be a cop. Not going to do that. But you're going to turn around. You're going to say, I'd say, release that Marine, you got 30 seconds or 1 minute. Stay your speech and then sit the fuck down or leave. But we're going to respect you. Say what you got. Now, you might say, David, but we can't do that with everyone. What, 100 people? I get it. I know. But sometimes you use leadership on the spot. They don't have leadership. They're just managers. They just follow the rule. I keep saying, how do you become a 4-star general? You don't become a 4-star general for leadership. You become it for followership. That's what we have. We have basically, it's about followership and it's about a paycheck and a pension. It's about paycheck. That's our military, believe it or not. And when it gets pushed, this war in Iran, it's all about video games now. You know, launch missiles, bing, 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 bing. Yeah, you wait until people start getting fucking smoked. Like literally there's body bags, ships starting to get sink. There's going to be mutiny. It won't last. I'm telling you, it will not last because the people are in the military are the same reason that Americans work for Coca-Cola, Pepsi, IBM. I'm like, man, I'm really proud to work for Coca-Cola. No, you're not. You're doing it for a paycheck and a pay. You know that. You know that. It's the similar in the military, believe it or not. The special operations can get a little bit different, these guys, but sometimes it's not so much for patriotism. Some of these guys, they just want to kill people, which is fine. You guys like that. But I'm telling you, the duty on a country thing, that boat has sailed.
Robots! You won't even look back! Look at you guys! You're like robots! Oh my God, what is happening? And you're not even looking back, any of you 4-star generals! Oh my God, what?
That's the key. Look at these people. They're not even looking back. They're scared. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you, there are so many weak men. We're going to show a video to show you weak men.
It's happening right now. Eyes front, robots. Shame.
They are. I mean, these guys are nothing but robots. It's just like paycheck, pension, paycheck, pension, paycheck, pension, paycheck, pension.
Shame. Oh my God, you guys. What did I just see? I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please.
Oh my God, what is
That's all.
happening?
Okay, good. No, it's not.
Oh my God.
All right, I think we get the point. But the point, let me see. What I want to do too is when you look at this war, you'll know what our real policy is in America when people who don't agree with each other agree with each other. Now, we all know about Vice President Pence. I was never a real fan of Vice President Pence. Not like I'm a fan of a lot of these politicians, but we all know that Pence and Trump had a falling out. And I get it. I think Pence is a weak man anyway. That's the one thing I like about Donald Trump. He could be shady. He could be working for Israel. He's about the money. But there's still something about Trump that he's got some balls. And I like that. Pence, I think a lot of these guys are pencil pushers. But this kind of really shows you what our real policy is about when people are really aligned.
Donald Trump for having the.
Okay, let's see. What did you say, Mike?
I want to commend President Donald Trump for having the guts to pull the trigger on this, but I can't.
He's talking about the Iran war. So I'll tell you, Pence and Trump are both in agreement about this war in Iran. I wonder why.
Can't say I was surprised.
But the reason I ask what you say to Americans who might have been surprised.
Now watch this. I'm not a fan of this woman. This woman, I guess, is on CNN. Again, she should. I don't believe women should be able to vote. I'm not. Women, their primary purpose is to make babies, generally speaking. And if any one woman disagrees with me, you go through life without kids and you're going to regret it. And you're going to realize, man, I really wish I was a mother. There you go. That's my point. But part of leadership is you're able to look at both sides. So I'm not a fan of this woman. Just like I said with the Marine, him having a Palestinian wife, whatever. He's not exactly a fan of that. But look what she's saying. Is she right? She's absolutely right what she's saying.
When the United States attacked Iran over the weekend, when the president first launched this, the current vice president, J.D. Vance, said in 2024 this about the prospect of war with Iran.
Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to.
I don't trust this guy at all. Yeah, I'll do a video on him. A lot of MAGA, man. I love JD Vance, man. He's not a fan of this guy. I'll do another video. Not a fan of him at all. But notice what he says here. Notice JD Vance, part of leadership too. If you saw my judgment, basically my whole life, I'm a very good person of judgment. It's the same thing when I was in the FBI. What did I predict? China more of a threat than radical Islamic terrorists, like all this stuff. If you go back, JD Vance was not a fan of Donald Trump. And now he changes his mind. What I'm trying to say in leadership, wishy-washy, changing minds, not a good idea. Now, it is true when you get new evidence, when you find new knowledge, it's normal. You should change your mind. You should go for the truth. But if you got a person who's constantly changing their mind, not good. But JD Vance definitely changed his mind on Donald Trump. Looks like he changed his mind on this one, too.
War with Iran, right? It would be huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country.
I mean, that was October of 2024. Some Americans might see that and say, okay, well, that's still how I feel now, and I'm struggling to pay bills, struggling to do that. Why are we at war with Iran?
Well, I would say to you, we are at war with Iran because we made it clear in our administration, and it had been the policy of the United States for decades, that Iran could never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon.
I don't know. North Korea's got one. I guess North Korea's next. Russia, China. Yeah, good one. Did Mike Pence serve in the military? I don't think so. All these guys never served in the military. They always want other people to go to war. Again, not like I'm a fan of Iran. I'm not going to live there, but want to go to war with them? All right, you sign it. You sign up for the military. Let's see. And then one thing we have to remember, too, is we don't talk about it. Where is all this money going? Okay, so what I want to do for this is going to be sensitive, but I'm going to try. These are the 4 soldiers that were killed. And by me showing their pictures, it's a sign of respect. We're showing them. But what I have to also do is there's 3 enlisted and there's 1 an officer who I believe is a captain. That's the rank I got when I got out. Now there's 2 levels to look at the military, enlisted and officers. I get it. If you're an enlisted guy and you say, why did you join the military? Not all stories are going to be like patriotic stories. I mean, some of it could be, dude, I was pumping gas one day and I hated my life. And the Army recruiter said, hey, you want to be all you can be. And I want to do, I get it. Not for officers, though. You go to West Point, you're in the FBI, you're in the CIA. You don't want people to say, dude, it was the best paycheck and pension I could get. Not good at all. So one of these guys is an officer or captain. Well, buddy, you fucking want to do it for a paycheck pension, meaning if you're going to be a government mercenary, that's what you get. And I think the enlisted have got to start doing it because you're not serving the American people. You're not. And so if you go into the military and you say, David, I need a job, though. I need to feed my family. I need a paycheck. Yeah, sir, go in the military. I'm not against mercenaries. I look at mercenaries as neutral. I'm not going to thank mercenaries for their service. I'm going to thank soldiers for their service. And soldiers are doing it for duty, honor, country. A mercenary is doing it for money. So the point what I'm trying to say is in the military, you're either going to learn now or you're going to learn later. But you are doing it for a paycheck pension. If you don't believe me, trust me, all the people in America, the government says, thank you for your service. That doesn't mean anything. So we have to come to the agreement that you did it for a paycheck and a pension. And even the government, the American people, know you did it for a paycheck and a pension. That's why thank you for your service doesn't mean anything anymore. We know it. Let's just be honest and stop thanking people for their service. But to those who died, I feel for them, but we have to start being honest with these people. Our government military is filled with government mercenaries. But either way, I'm showing it to give a sense of respect to them, and hopefully to the other Americans, you can kind of learn the lesson. Are you really proud of God? Was he doing it for a paycheck pension? He wasn't. If you think about it, go back to Afghanistan, Iraq. Think to yourself, the people who died. If you're a military veteran, if your buddies died in Afghanistan, was it we lost? I mean, we lost. Why did we pull out? Was it worth it? Is this war in Iran worth it? And I think at the end of the day, it's like, it's not about whether it's worth it or not. It's just, it's economics. It's economics for America. It's economics for the soldiers, meaning a paycheck pension. This is what we are. We are a corporation in America. Some people say we're going to war for the oil, the petrodollar. That's probably a good thing. I mean, we're going to Venezuela. Venezuela and Iran put together, they're the world's oil supply. They were going to begin trading, if not already, in the Chinese yuan or the BRICS currency. Once the dollar, and this is where Trump has stated, he's right, if the dollar loses the world reserve currency, it's like losing one of the worst wars America can have. So we want to protect the dollar. So maybe we're going to control the oil from the biggest oil suppliers of the world, Venezuela and Iran, and force the new regimes, meaning that these would be America, to use the US dollar? Probably, but what does that mean? It's economics again, it's all economics. But that's good, but we're based on a globalist system. So sooner or later, countries like China will eventually beat us. Why? Because we're globalists. How did China get so strong? Because we're global. Like, think about it. Why is Boeing in China? It makes no sense unless we're globalists. But globalists don't help out the regular American. You're screwed. It's going to help out the corporations, the elites. So let's keep going on this. But I think sooner or later, people are going to realize this system is not going to work. Figure out what this one is.
Craft to the region likely.
Yeah, so one thing no one's talking about is, I'll tell you, if you're invested in crypto, if you're invested in gold, you're going to do very well. And all these MAGA people, too, they like these big wars. Who's paying for it? Well, it's called the printing press. We're going to print these dollars, man, and get ready for inflation.
President Donald Trump's military strikes in Iran have likely cost American taxpayers over $1 billion using cursory estimates, with hundreds of millions lost on lost aircraft over the weekend, with a price tag that could approach $100 billion, depending on how long it can stretch on. It's hard to estimate how much exactly the strikes in Iran are costing the US government, given the full scope of the operation and the weapons being used aren't fully known yet, but the price tag is racking up. Even before the strikes properly began, transporting troops, ships, and aircraft to the region likely cost the military an estimated $630 million, Elaine McCusker, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute think tank and former Pentagon budget official, told the Wall Street Journal on Saturday. CENTCOM confirmed that 3 F-15E Strike Eagle jets were struck down in Kuwait on Sunday. Based on an estimated cost of $90 million per jet, this loss cost the U.S. military a minimum of nearly $300 million. And these costs don't factor in the daily cost of maintaining troops in the region, with the Washington Post reporting Monday approximately 50,000 troops are already involved in the military operation, with more potentially on the way. Operating the 2 aircraft carriers deployed to the region cost an estimated $13 million per day. A 2013 estimate by the Center for a New American Security put the daily operating cost of a single carrier at $6.5 million. However, that figure is likely higher today. The conflict in Iran is projected to impose significant costs on the U.S., according to Kent Smetters, director of the Penn Wharton budget model. The direct cost to taxpayers for military operations and replacing supplies is estimated to be at least $40 billion, with a likely range closer to $65 billion and a potential high of $95 billion, depending on the duration of the conflict. Furthermore, the total economic cost is anticipated to be much higher. Smetters suggested to Fortune on Monday that the war could lead to an economic loss for the U.S. ranging from $50 billion to $200.
No one really cares. Trust me, they're going to print this out. Most even the American public don't know it. I'm going to play this. This is pretty interesting. I don't know if you've seen this, but this is a guy who goes around in the Pentagon, or not the Pentagon, the Congress, whatever, and he asks people, Israel first or America first? These are our politicians, or these are the people who are all leeching off the American taxpayer and whatever corporate, or not corporate, government job they are. And the simple question of America first or Israel first would be, you would think it's a simple answer of America first. It's very strange. I've watched some of these videos. It's an eye-opening.
America first or Israel first? You look like an America guy. So you walk a little wobbly, sir. You're a wobbly walker, bro. Sir, America first or Israel first? Sorry? Sorry? That's all you got, chicken boy? Bro, you'll never go into anywhere in this town. You have no swag, no presence, no nothing, bro. You're not him, little bro. You're not him, little bro. Excuse me, sir. America first or Israel first? You are not on Mad Men, bro.
You are not on Mad Men, bro.
This is not Mad Men. It's giving failed politician. It's giving you'll never make it in this town. It's giving loser.
It's
So
very strange.
first,
It's very strange. I've seen these videos more and more. You know, do you think besides China first in China, is there any, I can't think of anything. It's China first. It's weird because this is not just a one-off video. I've seen a lot of his videos. It's the same thing. America first, Israel first. Then he starts getting to Palestine. I get it. I'd say, dude, I don't care about Palestine. I mean, generally, whatever, care a little bit. You know, it's like Ukraine. Do I care about Ukraine? Sure, a little bit, but generally speaking. But that first question, Israel first or America first? Now, if you're a private citizen or even if you're a foreigner, maybe you're an Israeli living in America, you know, whatever on a visa, yeah, of course. What if you're a dual citizen? I guess so. Working in the United States government on taxpayer dime, even if you're not a congressman or senator, you work for the American taxpayer. Taxpayer monies are giving you money. All these people in that building, it's America first. Otherwise, you're fired. But it's interesting. I'll tell you, good shout out to this guy's video. I never would have imagined people saying, but it's the same thing, my situation. I never imagined the amount of censorship I would have, the amount of just ostracization I've received from our politicians and military veterans and stuff like that. It just shows it's a look into the system. And what does that mean? Our systems aren't working. We're betrayed from within. Pretty interesting videos. Let's just do this a little bit. This is a longer video, so I don't want to go too much into it.
Of politics by other means.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the art of war and whatever. So there's two major books about the art of war. One is Sun Tzu, which combines, so there's three books you could say in politics. There's Machiavelli, who talks about the state. There's Sun Tzu that actually combines warfare and statecraft, warcraft and statecraft together. And then at West Point, we study Clausewitz, which is the Prussian general, the old German general. So Clausewitz focuses on war, Machiavelli focuses on the state. Sun Tzu puts them both together. But the point is there's something we're not seeing here. She's going to try to go into this, what's going on in Iran, but they're missing the big picture. But it is what it is. I mean, I could say what I want. The same thing's going to happen, people. You're going to watch it until, what's my prediction? The system's going to collapse.
How about appear weak when you are strong? Have you ever heard of the phrase, war is the continuation of politics by other means? How about appear weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak? They were said by two of history's most well-known military strategists, the Prussian Karl von Clausewitz, who wrote the...
So this is the German, for German history. Before there was Germany, it was Prussia. And America also gets a lot of culture and a lot of our culture from the old Prussian, the old Germans, you could say. But at West Point, we study a lot about Clausewitz, The Art of War.
A massive book titled On War in the 19th Century, and China's Sun Tzu, who lived more than 2,000 years earlier in the 5th century BC and is known for his Art of War text. But what does...
Again, the only difference, I mean, you could say, I'm not going to say there's a lot of differences, but one is Sun Tzu, it says The Art of War, but it really combines statecraft and warcraft together. Whereas, like I said, Clausewitz, it really focuses on warcraft. Nothing wrong with it, but that would be one of the differences. Obviously, the other difference is Clausewitz is a Prussian, a German, a European. Sun Tzu is a Chinese person. So there's also a different cultural mindset, you could say Western and Eastern approach to basically winning. It's all about winning on the battlefield or even winning in politics.
Does any of that have to do with the war in Iran? Quite simply, generals around the...
In fact, I'm going to tell you the first secret in terms of the art of war. This is not from Clausewitz. This is from Sun Tzu. Who's this woman here? Does she look Asian to you? Does she have a Western passport, meaning a Western citizenship? Probably. Well, that's probably one of the reasons that this Western society has already been infiltrated. But To the Western person, we can't say that because that would be called racist. But they could do it in China. But I would say if we're going to be talking about the art of war, the first thing is how did we allow ourselves to become infiltrated in the black arts?
The world can never seem to stop quoting these two guys. Today's top military leaders make decisions and often attribute their thinking to Clausewitz or Sun Tzu. The two are taught in military academies around the world, including at West Point. They actually contribute a lot to 21st century thinking about how to conduct war, why you'd want to start a war, or why or when you should stop. We're going to look at the...
So now the question, that's what I'm saying. If you're like, wait a minute, if you West Pointers study this, why do you guys suck at war? And I said this even before Trump got elected. People were like, no, remember when Trump insulted the generals? But guess what? What did Trump do? Even with HeadSec, he's starting to clean house. It's true. Why? Because part of the reason we cannot win a war is our generals, their mission is not to win the war. What is their mission? Their mission is to get promoted. So their mission is to listen to the politicians who work for the military-industrial complex, and you see what I'm saying. That was never like this before. In fact, General Eisenhower, which I would say is also, I mean, he did win World War II, very good. He warned us about this. He warned us about the congressional, that was the term, the congressional military-industrial complex. So the point what I'm saying is, part of the reason we have a failure now is we don't have generals, because in order to have a general, you need a warrior who focuses on war. Now, you're going to get this guy HeadSec who says, I'm changing that. And he's making good steps. But the point being is I don't know. I'm trying to think of a bad example. I don't know. You have a boxer, and what should be the boxer's number one objective is to KO his opponent, is to absolutely, just like a Mike Tyson, destroy. But maybe you've got a boxer who says, no, I'm getting money on the side. I'm going to throw the fight because my thing is to make money and not to win. Even though if you did win, then you can make money. But the point is, our generals, their objective isn't to win the war. It's not. It's just to keep it going because we don't care. We have the generals from Afghanistan, Iraq, complete failures. These people are on talk shows, on CNN, on Fox News, and they're speaking like, hi. Wherein, if it was back, you could say before the military-industrial complex, these generals would have been gone. They would have been fired. So that's one of the first problems. This whole thing called the military-industrial complex, I don't think people understand how much of an influence it has over everything we do. If you don't think so, then ask yourself again, for everyone that says, well, Trump is using 4D chess with the oil in Iran, the oil, it's all about China. I know then what is the Boeing Corporation doing in China? Maybe Trump, the ultimate plan is again that the military-industrial complex is the one at charge. And who are they working for? I don't know. There could be foreign influences as well.
Past few days of the Iran conflict with these two strategists in mind, with the help of Professor Hugh Strachan of the University of St. Andrews. He's a military historian who has served as advisor at defense institutions. I started out by asking him what these two thinkers say about the nature of war.
The first thing is that Clausewitz would say, it does say, is that insofar as war has its own dynamic, it tends to escalate. It will logically go to extremes because killing people actually creates a division in terms of how we behave towards each other. So you cannot assume that a war will remain limited in the way in which it's conducted. He moderates that because obviously he allows for the possibility that policy.
We don't have time to go through the whole thing, and it's a shame, but let me just skip a couple parts and we'll get to the next thing. But it's very good learning.
To get legitimacy in the eyes of the Iranian people, when it will be seen to have been imposed upon it or upon them. One of the Clausewitz's lines that was regularly quoted in 2003, both at the time and in the aftermath.
It's good that we see these pictures. How was that? Was that a victory? Operation Iraqi Freedom? It's same thing, people.
Especially by American commentators, was the advice where he says, first judge the sort of war in which you're going to get engaged. And I don't...
It's a shame. A lot of good lessons. A lot of good lessons I learned at West Point, but we're dealing with a system that that the historians have never dealt with, the military-industrial complex. So the point being is the military-industrial complex, think about it. If you don't understand what I'm trying to think about this. If you're in the military-industrial complex, you don't want to win a war, you don't want to lose a war, but whatever you do, just keep them going. Just keep them going. So in the military-industrial complex, they would prefer, think about it, if we could go into Afghanistan and complete the war in 1 year, it's kind of like a consultant. Remember these McKinsey consultants? It's a simple problem that probably could be done within a week. And they say, oh, this is complicated. This is going to be a 6-month engagement. They want more money. That 20-year war on terror on Iraq and Afghanistan, record profits. If they could have it, we would still be in Afghanistan and Iraq, if they could have it. That's a problem. We're not working for, say, generals. In generals, you win that war. Why? Because you want to do what's something that the Chinese would call is keep all under heaven. And what's that mean? You spare your lives, you spare your resources, you spare your country, meaning you want to get this war over. It's like two men getting in a fight. You don't want to get this bloody fight that's going minutes. There's my tooth, there's my nose, now my eye's been out. It's like, Jesus, let's get this over. And if I lose, I lose, or win. But the more we keep battling it, the more I'm going to destroy you, you're going to destroy me, and we're probably not going to be able to live to see another day. So we want these wars done fast. Not if you're in the military-industrial complex. Why? You want prolonged wars. Why? You need profits. So it's a mechanism that when Clausewitz and Sun Tzu, that was never really done. It's many of these revolutionary means in affairs, but not so much in the military, almost in politics and economics, like technology. So we're dealing with a different entity, and that is the boss that we really work for, because we're a corporation, not China. China's different. Why? Because in China, however evil it's not like I'm a fan of the Chinese government. We'll do other videos on organ harvesting. But still, in China, the government's in charge. Who's in charge in America? The corporations. The corporations, the money interest. We follow the money. And guess what these elite organizations want? More and more and more money. It never ends. It will never end. Let me look at this one here. I thought it was pretty interesting. Remember what I said about the DHS with Kristi Noem I said those were bad shots? This is, again, our country falling apart here. Look at this bullshit here.
Why do I love these wide open spaces?
So again, this is where MAGA loves her. They love these tough ones. I'm not a fan of hers. I'm not a fan of women acting tough. I'm not a fan of women in leadership positions. I'm not a fan. Go make a fucking baby, okay? Go take care of your kids. But the MAGA love this. And the MAGA, many times, MAGA are fake conservatives. Just like Donald Trump said, the rhinos, well, same thing. It's going to keep moving on. But the MAGA like these people. What she fucking did in Minnesota was wrong. She called those people domestic terrorists. Those were bad shots by those people. And I said it. I'm telling you, you're going to see a change. Trump changed that, and Trump fired her. He also fired her for this campaign ad here. Look at this bullshit ad where she wants to be some movie star.
You remind me of why our forefathers came here. Not just for its beauty, but for the freedom.
I can tell you, our forefathers did not come to America to have women like you in charge. That's for sure.
Only America
They didn't want any women in charge.
provides. I'm Kristi Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West to the titans who built our cities.
Yeah, all men who did that little tricky dicky cupcake. So get back in the bedroom and make some babies. Women didn't create America. It was men.
To the dreamers who chase the impossible. America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you.
Now watch this. She gets tough. She gets tough on illegal immigration. Watch what she says at the end.
Break our laws, we'll punish you.
Right, this is MAGA here. They're like, when it comes to illegal immigration, there's no fucking line. We'll crush you. Yeah, watch this.
Harm American citizens, there will be consequences.
Awesome.
But if you come here the right way.
What the fuck does that mean? If you come here the right way. What exactly does that mean, my little cupcake?
Your American dream can be as big as these endless skies.
So that basically means when it comes to legal immigration, I don't know, you're smart, you pay taxes, you follow the law. It doesn't matter who you are, welcome. No, not into it, not into it. This is a European country. This country belongs to Europeans. I get it, I'll admit it. Did our forefathers commit genocide to the Native Americans? Yup, is what it is, and we could talk about it. And that's why I do believe give a little piece of land. But our forefathers built this land for white men. To the Indians, sorry, we did commit genocide, but you lost and we won. And I'd be happy to give the Native Americans a little piece of the land. But it is what it is. This country was built for, by, and of white men. We have to say it. If you are a patriot and you respect our founding fathers, and if you're going to be a patriot, you should respect our founding fathers. This country was built by white men, defended by white men, and made for white men. That's it. That's not me talking. That's George Washington talking.
From President Trump and me, welcome home.
And guess what? You're fired, bitch. You should never been in there. Should never. This is what I'm saying. These MAGA people are like, man, I love these tough women, and look at her. She could shoot a gun. She could ride a horse. That's men stuff. Okay, it doesn't. I cannot tell you how dumb American women. There's a reason why women can't get men here. I know we're doing a tangent. We're talking about the war, but it all relates. Country's going down. But these American women, just like you look at men that forgot what it is to be a man, you women forgot what it's been a woman. I cannot tell you how many women think that they're trying to impress me, like sexually impress me. Like, look, I shoot guns, I do boxing, I ride horses. It's just not, it doesn't appeal to me. It just doesn't appeal to me. Dude, learn to do women things. Look how good I could cook. I really always wanted to be a mother. I love being submissive, and I like being fucking quiet. I don't like a woman who's got a lot of social media. Like, I'm a quiet bitch. I stay in the background and I shut my fucking mouth. That's going to attract a lot of men. So no, I look at Donald Trump's wife, who's a fucking whore, wants to be a model. She's making movies. Shut up, get in the background. The man is in the front, the women are in the back. So these are some of the things. But the American women, they're like, why can I not get a top quality man? Probably you have no fucking clue what top quality men like, because a lot of this bullshit, I'm not looking. If I wanted to get a cowboy, I'll get a dude. I'm not looking for a woman to be a cowgirl. Anyway, let's go to this last one here. And the reason I'm putting this on here is, I see Spartan. First rule of politics, no women in politics. Yeah, I keep saying when it comes to economics, business, military, and politics, which are basically the three leadership realms, it should be men. Should be one of the worst things. And I keep saying we should blame men. We fucked up. We should have never given white women the right to vote. I'll do videos on these. Where these women don't know what they want anyway. Think about it. Ask a woman what she wants versus asking a man what he wants. The man should be much quicker. I want boom, boom, boom. A woman will be like, I don't know. I want this. No, I want that. No, I want this. And these are the women that are going to vote. Oh my God, horrible. Now it's like sparring the right way. Just get a Jewish, to do your paperwork. All right. So what I want to do is look at this. Remember what I said about this guy, Luigi Mannioni, who smoked that CEO? Because again, why are we in Iran? It's all about the money, people. This is all about the money. Look at what these corporations are doing to America. And yet these American citizens are like, our country's falling apart, but we want to go to Iran. And we care. Like you see these dumb MAGA people are like, these people in Iran, they live in a brutal dictatorship and we need to give them freedom. Doesn't that sound like Iraqi freedom all over again? Like Iraqi freedom part 2? Like Saddam Hussein, it's a brutal dictatorship and we have to give these Iraqis their freedom. I think they want what they want. And I think the Iranian people, when they want freedom, they'll do it. They don't need our help. In the meantime, look at us. Look who's really stabbing us in the back. And that's what I'm saying. What this guy, Luigi Mannioni's done, the way I look at it is these corporations don't care about us, so I really don't care about them.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction.
You probably couldn't read the whole thing fast enough, but what is it? This is the United States, or what is it? United Healthcare, that CEO, that company screwing Americans over their healthcare. Look at me with my with my experience with two major American corporations in China, Amazon and the Boeing Corporation, selling out Americans for China. These corporations are destroying us. But these dumb MAGA people, to include Fox, are going to convince you that priority number one is we need to destroy the Iranian regime. Otherwise, we're going to get destroyed. Really? That's our really priority? Really? We'll see. So anyway, let me see. I'm going to look at some comments. I've seen a video of the subway in Iran as clean as Japan. The way I look at with Iran is we have problems in America. It's as simple as that. And that's what I'm saying. The amount of money, we're talking the military operation that's being used. And also we know that after these operations, who's going to get the follow-on money, the follow-on governments, both in Israel and Iraq? It's also going to be non-Americans, meaning these puppet governments, what rebuilding Gaza. It's probably going to be American taxpayer money that's going to rebuild Gaza. Like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of times Americans are so retarded that for the same reason that I said, when you say, these poor Iranians, we need to help them out. No, they're fine. When they want help, they will form a revolution themselves. We don't have to help them. It's the same thing I look at Americans. Let it happen. When the time is right, guns and ammo are going to come into play in America. Until then, it's the same thing. I mean, think about it. If you think I'm wrong, just think about this. Think what happened with COVID. Think if another virus comes out and another vaccine comes out, what do you think most Americans will do? I think they'll take the vaccine. Like, we don't learn. I just think it goes over. That's why I think a lot of times the Jews look at white people and they're like, man, these are some dumb fucking people, these white people. No wonder they're probably the chosen people. If you think I'm wrong, ask yourself. Another COVID-2 comes out and another vaccine comes out. What? And I'm talking white Americans. What do you think the majority of white Americans? I think they'll get the vaccine. I think they'll get the vaccine. If you think I'm going to think about it, we just went through Iraqi freedom. You're telling me there's no similarities with Operation Iraqi Freedom and this thing going in Iran? You'd be mind-boggling. Of course there's, but guess what the Americans are? Now some people say, David, no, you don't understand. The majority of Americans are against this war, but it's just the news. I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see at the election polls, right? I mean, that's a good thing. If that's the case. Now, it is true, though, and the problem with the reason why America is going to go down is we have to get rid of this fallacy that the only way we could change the system, the only way you have power is they're trying to convince you that the only thing you have is voting, which is another reason they don't want a guy like me on here, because they always condemn people who leave America. But I'm telling you, you have really three choices. Either one, you're going to exit the system. And by that is you're not going to pay taxes. It's a big deal. You don't pay taxes. You're going to exit. Two, you could stay in America, but you get off the grid. Again, don't pay taxes. But it's difficult. This system is designed in America where it's difficult to leave America. And let's face it, how many people do you really know live off the grid? I mean, that's a pretty tough thing. And in fact, that's one of the reasons the globalists want that there's a full war attack on farmers. Because once you get rid of the small single farmer who can be self-reliant, then that's the last end of us. I mean, that's why farmers is such a cherished profession, because it's part of self-reliance. But most of us that you know are not in a position. It's getting harder and harder to live, like I said, off the grid like a farmer. But that's something you could do. Otherwise, the only type of politics you're going to do is you're going to do state politics. And what is that? Is you want to secede from the union. Good luck with that. But other than that, most Americans just vote, vote, vote. And I think Trump knows it, because Trump knows that no matter how much you dislike him, like me, I'm starting to dislike him more and more. He's smart. He knows who else you're going to vote for. He's right. Now, I laugh. But even as much as I dislike Trump more and more and more, you're going to vote for a Democrat? You think they're going to do very well? Or even if you're going to go vote for another Republican? So I think sooner or later, I think more and more Americans are going to wake up is when they realize that voting means nothing. But once that happens, what do? You're probably going to leave America. You're going to go off the grid and be a farmer. Good luck. It's hard, but and this is going to be the danger. This is where the FBI will be knocking on your door, where you start getting to state politics with the objective of secede from the union. Good luck with that. Otherwise, like I said, I think this is just going to be a big ship going down. But either way, we'll see where this thing goes. But I don't think it's going to do well. Didn't happen the first time. But until then, all the MAGA people, they're too busy. They're too busy caring about the Marine who got dragged out. Why? Because they're all too busy thanking military veterans for their service. And if you're a military veteran, I'm gonna let the ball out. I don't thank military veterans for their service anymore. So if you're a military veteran who's serving now, active duty, fighting in this war in Iran, what's in it for me? What's in it for Christianity? What's in it for our European family? And what's in it for our freedom? I don't see it. So one of the best ways is to change the culture in America is stop thanking military veterans for their service. Just stop. It means nothing. I don't know what it means anymore. Thank you for your service. What, Operation Epic Fury? What, to give freedom to the Iranians? Doesn't really help me. It raises my tax money because I got to spend all this money on the military. Now it's destroying the dollar. So maybe, meaning, I guess what I'm trying to say is in leadership, before you want to change the world, maybe change your own little world, your own little space. And one of the things is stop thanking military veterans for, I take zero offense if you say, Dave, now I do believe I served my nation, but I quit the military and I quit the FBI. That was a service. I stopped leeching off your tax money. I definitely think I owe service to that. But other than that, I don't think I deserve a thanks. And I'm telling you, I don't thank these fucking people anymore. So maybe that's the way to go. And if you look at me and say, David, I don't care if you're a military veteran, I'm not thanking you for your service. That sounds fine. I don't mind that. But if you're going to be a fake MAGA who says it all the time, well, then live up to it. That's what MAGA is. Let me just look here for a little bit more. America vote as much value as a lotto ticket. Yes, smart. I'm just not into voting. I mean, remember, you're talking to someone who left America in 2010. When you leave the country, and that's another reason they don't want to have a person like me. I'm not saying I'm parading around like America sucks, overseas is better. It's not that. But the truth is I left and I don't really miss America. And they don't want that. They love these stories of the American who leaves and says, I left America and it's horrible. I really want to go back to America. And they do it. But I didn't. Like I said, when I left America, I never said anything negative. I was very thankful to be born and raised in America. I was very thankful for what I was given. But the same values that I was taught at West Point, duty, honor, country, are not the values that are being taught in a globalist corporate society like America. And I just politely left. I did. I just politely left. And truth be told, I actually enjoy living life overseas, not rubbing it in, but they don't like this. They fucking don't like it. Same thing like quitting a corporation, which is America. They don't want someone who quits and says, I'm quitting the corporation. They love someone who quits and says, God, it was the worst thing I do. Can I please get back in the corporation? It just really is. I mean, when I really look at America now, the best way to describe it is it's a globalist corporation. And I look at Donald Trump less as a president and more like a CEO. He runs it like a company. It's all about money. The same thing with MAGA. They go hard on illegal immigration. But when it comes to legal immigration, if you've got money, well, come on in. We could care less who you are. It's all about the money. That system eventually will fall. We all know that. It's going to happen. I see Shane, he's waiting for the shithole that it's gonna get worse and worse because, like I said, I think one of the reasons it's gonna get worse and worse is a lot of MAGA people have really put their and I admit it too. I've said I do believe Donald Trump is the best president of my entire lifetime, and he's sort of going downhill. But I do think a lot of MAGA people that are in the MAGA cult, there's a cult. Once they realize that he's not really gonna fix this system anymore, then it's sort of like, I don't know, it's like maybe you're in love with your wife and you realize that she gets gangbangs every weekend. Like you were in love with her and you thought she was a virgin, and then you just realize, oh my God, like they hit an epiphany that Trump's not, meaning they put all their chips in this guy Trump because it's a cult, and they realize he's not going to fix his system. That maybe they're just going to boom, something like that. But I have been hearing with some MAGA people, and I even mentioned him before, I think this guy, Nick Fuentes, vote for the Democrats. That's about as retarded as can be. But I am going to do videos. One of the things you are seeing more and more Americans doing, they're leaving America. It really is. More and more Americans were like me in 2005 when I started realizing America's going to collapse. What the hell am I going to do? I'm powerless. And the only thing I could think of is, I'm just going to leave with no hatred, no ridicule. I'm just going to politely, just same thing with the FBI, I'm going to politely leave. But you're seeing more Americans realize there's no answer to this problem. This ship is sinking. They can't change it. Voting is meaningless. So what do? They're leaving. And I'm telling you, it is increasing. And a lot of Americans who say, I'm never going to leave in America, well, a lot of you can't. Meaning it's hard. It's hard to leave. But I can tell you, the rich Americans in America, they have dual passports. I mean, even like what's the PayPal mafia? I forgot his name. He's part of the PayPal mafia. He's already got a passport in New Zealand. He's got houses in New Zealand. Same thing with Zuckerberg, with Amazon. Oh, they do. All these rich American billionaires who talk about America first, they already have assets abroad, passports abroad. They're ready if it's going to happen. But to the regular American, even if you wanted to leave America, I don't think you can. It's more difficult than you think. But anyway, that is something that more and more Americans are doing. That was the one thing I could just think of is just get off the ship. And I'll do more videos on that. But if you think voting is going to correct this problem, just keep voting. Have fun. We'll see where this goes. But anyway, let's go. MAGA still drinks a gold. Yeah, Shane, I really do think there's a bit of a cult with this MAGA. And like I said, I've definitely experienced it. MAGA like, man, we back military veterans. Well, not at least from what I've seen. And there's a lot of stuff that's just very weird. And they're, like I said, let's see where this thing's going. My prediction stands, and I've said this before. I've always said Trump is the best president of my entire lifetime. But what did I say? He's not going to fix the system. It's just what happens is as the empire falls, this is a history lesson. I think it's the same thing if you look at medical. They say when the body is about to die, before it dies, it does one last burst, like energy to get the heart pumping again. It's the last hurrah, because if it doesn't work, it's done. We're at that falling empire stage, and we're realizing that we're going to die. And so we have a surge of nationalism. This is what Trump is. And it's all part of history. You get this strong man, and we'll see where it is. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I go back to Adolf Hitler, and this is not a negative thing. It's just part of history. But Germany was going into a toilet bowl called the Weimar Republic. A strong man like Adolf Hitler came, and he brought it up. The problem is I do look at Adolf Hitler as a nationalist. I don't view Donald Trump as a nationalist. I view him as having a lot of nationalist tendencies, but I still look at him as like globalist. Why? This war in Iran, right? I think his relationship with Israel is that's not America first. His views of legal immigration. But if anyone thinks I'm wrong, let's just see. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, look at this war in Iran. And if you are truly MAGA and you listen to what Donald Trump ran on, and now you look at the Iran war and say, yeah, this is exactly what I knew this was going to happen, meaning this was all part of Donald Trump's plan. That's not what he ran on. That's not what he ran on. I mean, I don't know, George Bush and Donald Trump, do you see that much difference between Iraq and Iran, these wars? And then Venezuela? I don't know what the hell he was doing with Greenland. We'll see. Like I said, I think it's going to get worse and worse. Yeah, I heard about this thing called Patriot Front. Like I said, some people say when the Civil War comes, your race is going to be your uniform. I'd say we have to start understanding that race is an element. It's an element of why America's going to fall. And it's also an element that I would say you need to look to. Meaning, if I was going to immigrate into a state in America, one of the main elements is I want to look at white population. Along with other things, Christianity, nationalism. But I think more and more Americans are going to realize, especially as the white population drops, your race is going to understand it's real. So just like I look at the MAGA people and you look at these people as libtards and liberals and woke, that's how I look at you when it comes to race. I mean, you're just a liberal. Race is real. Embrace your race. It is what it is. But it's going to happen. As whites become a minority, not good. All right, I think we talked enough. David Baumblatt from Terrapin Leadership. Let's see where this goes. Is this war in Iran going to be a success? Fuck no, of course not. You're going to see it. But what are you going to do as an American citizen? You're going to pay your taxes and you're going to vote. Think about it. So I'm Donald Trump. I'm the government. Do I really care? If this war wins, or this war loses, are you going to still pay your taxes like a cop? Yes. Are you still going to believe that your vote matters? Yes. Then they don't care. I mean, there you go. So it just is what it is. That's why I'm saying when people leave America, which is one of the ways, they demonize people like me. Which, like I said, I never want to be on social media. Just leave me the fuck alone, FBI. Just leave me alone. But they do demonize Americans who, even the MAGA people. You fucking traitor. You left America. What does that have to do with anything? But these same MAGA people, like, you're a traitor. You left America. Oh, you're a legal immigrant. Welcome to the brotherhood, man. Come to America. Okay. So coming to America is awesome, but leaving America, I don't know. That sounds like North Korea. What are we, a prison? You can't leave? It's very strange, but there's a reason why the government, the media, doesn't want people to realize stories of people who left America and realize life's not that bad. Like I said, if I never return to America for the rest of my life, I'm fine. I'm not trying to do any propaganda. I'm fine. There's a lot of places out there. It is true. America is a very developed country, so it is hard. I don't know any examples in Africa that are people go, maybe, but there are other places in the world that it's not that bad. It's actually pretty cool some ways. But again, this story, they don't like it. The government doesn't like it. The corporations don't like it. The media doesn't like it. The American media, why? Because they don't want you to realize that probably one of the most best tools that you can have to fight against it, it's the same thing in a crappy corporation. What do? You can quit. You can quit. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know. They want you to have fucking kids, a mortgage, insurance, debt, where you cannot quit the corporation. You were just absolutely dependent upon this corporation, this job. They like that. Corporations like that because they got you by the balls. Same thing with the country. They don't want that. They don't want people to know that, yeah, you could leave America and life is not that bad. They don't want that. Sounds like a corporation, doesn't it? That's America. It's a globalist corporation. Okay, I appreciate your time, David Baumblatt from Terrabin's Leadership. Thank you, and lead to victory.